Uh-oh.
Hey, I hit the wrong button. I almost ended the stream. It was like, you sure you want to end the stream? And I was like, no, I'm not.
It was almost a tragedy.
It was almost a faux pas of epic proportions. Um, but speaking of faux pas, thank you everybody for joining us on a Wednesday night. This was a busy weekend for both of us. I know Logan was ready to go despite the long travel weekend. We were traveling for Elena's birthday, and so sometimes life happens, and yeah, so we're here on Wednesday.
I mean, look, as we say all the time, life before games always.
That is true. That is true. And I don't know. It's tough to remember sometimes when you put, I don't know, so much stock in what you're doing and creating. But yeah, I mean, definitely good to take a pause sometimes and take care of the family first. But yeah. Also, speaking of taking care of people, I feel super bad every time we have to adjust to another night in the week because there's so much Lorcana content out there now. We're inadvertently always stepping on somebody. Wednesday nights is another one of our favorite shows, Enchanted Chatter with Bree and Courtney, and so I apologize for moving on to your night. Um, and then I think Lorcana After Dark is doing Wednesdays now too. So I don't know. I apologize to everybody who usually watches those shows, but thank you if you're here.
It just means if they're here when we finish, we send them off to the other people.
That's true. That's true. And we'll mention it again later. But I think the first Wednesday of or the second Wednesday of every month, it's the something Wednesday of every month is Vox Lorcana. That's tonight. So if you're here, again, we'll mention it before the end of the show. But if you're here tonight, make sure you check that out as well. Wonderful show over on Twitter Spaces, and yeah, check that out. So with that, how's it going, Logan?
It's going wonderful. It's been a weekend, man.
Yeah.
um I mean, like all last week leading up to opening weekend, um I had an event I was going to. Humble had an event he was going to. I believe Bannable also went to something. And it's all obviously just preparation. Oh no, because also R&B had Southside that he was preparing for. So a few of us just had big things that we were preparing for leading up from that to this coming weekend, which is Ink and CCS. So shout outs to anybody going to that. I know Liam is going to CCS. I'm going to Ink. So whichever one you go to, you'll have an opportunity to see either of us. But man, what a whirlwind of how much how many things have happened. So like going into the weekend, we had an expected thought of this is what the first week meta is going to look like, and we were wrong, which is crazy. Like none of us imagined we would be as wrong as we actually were.
I mean, are we gonna jump right in? I
Sure.
guess I guess you segued us nicely. Okay, so let's and by the way, chat, thank you all for being here, live chat. One of the we could do recorded videos and podcasts and put them out there, but one of the benefits of doing this live is we get to interact with all of you, and it's fun seeing you come back week after week. So let us know if you have any questions, if there's anywhere you'd like us to go with the chat. We have some guests coming on later, but yeah, let us know if you have any questions. Um, okay, so Logan, to your point, let's rewind a little bit and talk about what did you expect or what did we expect as a community going into this weekend in terms of the meta.
So I think pretty well everybody was looking at Amber Steel being like public enemy number one. Everybody was looking at the Tiana aggro lists that were showing up that had Tiana, Nala, and everything that moves fast. And we're like, how are we going to beat this? How's it possible? This is going to be such an unfair thing where nothing's going to beat aggro. And then across, I believe, like 4 different events, I think Amber Steel was in top cut exactly one time, and it was at my event.
Did you see? So yeah, I remember like the going in. I think the common thought, and I talked to different players with different opinions, but I do think the common thought was that Amber Steel, especially without the board control, would be nuts. And did you see a lot of it there, and these decks just rose to the top, or did people just not even bring it in, and were we completely wrong?
No, so like at my event specifically, I played against it in round 1. And then in top 8, I was first seed, he was 8th seed, so I played against it again. It was there, it was present in the room. Amethyst just kind of handled it. um like a lot of Amethyst Steel and a lot of Sapphire Amethyst just was present. I played Sapphire Amethyst just because from all of my testing and things that Maelstrom had done, we felt like it was the best deck for the moment. It just has a lot of tools to deal with everything. And then right below that, I believe there's just across the board, like it was either Sapphire Amethyst or Amethyst Steel across the board. That was just top two, taking everything. I think every top 8, top 4 you saw was some combination of Sapphire Amethyst and Amethyst Steel. And it turns out Amethyst being able to draw cards is still pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I've got up on the screen for those watching on video, got the top lists from your tournament, and I think we might be missing. No, we have all the top 8 at least. And yeah, it's just Amethyst everywhere. Look at this! Look at this! Shout out to Ben Ramon for sneaking in there with the Hammer Steel aggro. But
fun fact: I played against him at the PPG event in Fort Worth, and had met him. So it was just wild to just randomly they're like, "Hey, look, we're playing again. What's up, man? How you doing?"
It is funny when you start to run into the same players over and over again. Like little family reunions. But yeah, I mean, Amethyst everywhere. And so what is it that's doing it for Amethyst? I mean, I know Dumbo is all the rage right now because of the card draw, the evasive. He does a lot of different things you need to do to win games. But is it just him swinging things, or does some of the control that you get from like the Elsas make up for some of the control that we're missing that went away? Like what is it about that color that's carrying it right now?
So Sapphire Amethyst in particular, it just has so much body that it puts on board. Turns out we're in a meta where stats matter a lot. And when you ramp on turn 2 and you're able to play a Genie or an Iago or a Madam Mim Elephant, and if they stick on the board, they just kind of easily take things over. And then say you trade an Iago or a Madam Mim Elephant into a Calhoun or anything that has 2 health, you then just follow it up with a Bell, take out something else, and all of a sudden this format that doesn't have a lot of hard removal, you're just tempoing them out and taking over the board with just bodies. That like Hades and Into the Unknown are absolutely insane right now. So like from Sapphire Amethyst things, that's how it goes. Like you just kind of ramp, you just play out stats that are really hard to deal with for anybody, and turns out that's good enough. Like there was a world, I don't know if you remember, Baker was the one that revealed the TikTok reprint, and all of us kind of laughed like, why would they bring back TikTok? Turns out TikTok is like one of the most insane things you can do on 6 Inc right now in the game. There's literally nothing other than Hades that like easily answers him as soon as he's played. And I just want to say, like, shout out to Maelstrom in general. This was very much so a team effort. RMB was the one that put us on the Baymaxes. Bannable Harko was the one that put us onto TikToks. And the list just kind of slowly evolved over the week as we were playing it. Baymax also just another insane, like easily the MVP of the deck for my event. I mean, he easily gained me 30 lore over the course of 8 rounds. You just view him as Bell copies 5 and 6 and just healing damage away from you. It's not even about the lore gain it gives you, it's healing the damage off of your stuff so they can keep on trading into things.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm looking at, so I'm responding to a comment right now, but okay, I'm getting a lot of comments about my volume. I just turned it up a couple different ways. So let me, you know what? Hold on. Ha! I figured out the problem.
Oh no, did you have a setting low?
Oh no. All right, ready? Boom, how's that?
Whoa, that's significantly.
All right. I fixed it. I fixed it, chat. Let me turn it down some. All right.
It's like you turned on the bass, dude.
Yeah. No trouble. I'm all about that bass. So, all right, there we go. Thank you, everybody. Okay. Yeah, I had the wrong mic turned on. You know, the standard. Yeah. All right. Well, there we go.
Just a reminder that we are professionals.
We are professionals. We want 101 episodes in, and here we are.
All right. So, so one of the things I'm looking at the values here, just as a commentary on how dominant some of these cards are right now. I mean, Dumbo, I remember coming out with $60, and there was part of me that thought, there's no way he's a $60 legendary. It turns out he's a $72 legendary right now. Just that dominant. And then some of the other cards you mentioned, like Iago's always been good, but Iago's a rare, a very recent rare, sitting at $7. I think that's higher than Madame M. Fox in her prime. Hades Infernal Schemers, like all the way up to $13 with a reprint. I mean, Hades is everywhere from the first chapter, and he's up that high. Spirit of Winter at $4. I'm surprised she's not actually a little bit higher, to be honest, but that is what it is. Baymax Armored Companion. I mean, again, a legendary which saw zero play, is now $10 from just a couple sets ago. So, yeah, I mean, all these cards that you highlighted were doing work for you. Seem to be reflecting that in their value. It's fascinating.
No, I mean, like, just the cards that 2-3 weeks ago that we'd have been like, wow, this is completely unplayable. That now are just staples. I think moving forward, we're going to see a lot of innovation and different things come in and out. But I feel like this now is kind of like as stock Sapphire Amethyst as you can find.
Yeah. It seems pretty good. And the stats like crazy. Because you're right. There's very little, like, without Be Prepared. I mean, a lot of your, not even a lot of your removal is damage based. We lost a lot of our damage based removal as well. I mean, we do have strength, but
we have strength, we have smash, we have fire the cannons, and like as far as relevant stuff, like that's about it.
Yeah, it's really all stats. Yeah, somebody welcome to Lorcana. Iago's on his way out, though. Interesting Lorcana spins. Iago on his way out.
I disagree. There are a lot of people who are saying that people are gonna, because you run Hypnotic Strength for that reason, right? If you see an Iago on the board, you're like, cool, Hypnotic Strength, and it's gone. Amethyst Steel, they're starting to run like Fire the Cannons and also like a copy or two of Hypnotic Strength because they have access to it. I think Iago is one of those cards that you can't just throw out there. You have to really have a plan for it. He's more of a mid to late game play instead of I'm now at 4 ink and this is what I'm going to run. I mean, like every time I played Iago in my event, it was great, but I also never was playing him right on turn, like right when I had 4 ink. It was always later in the game after my opponents had exhausted their actions. You only have so many Fire the Cannons and strengths in your decks. So if you wait it out eventually, like you have to still deal with my genies. You still have to deal with my Elsas. You still have to deal with my TikToks. Eventually, you're not going to have the free ping it away action.
Yeah. Interesting. J-Bomb asked you also about Iago, but I think you answered that. Marco pointing out Dumbo's price is also a reflection of the scarcity of the set. That is true.
Yeah, 100%.
100% true. I imagine that we'd have Maui up near like $80, $90 if we had the same scarcity, in that set when he came out. So it's a fair point. It'll be interesting to see how low he drops. But for right now, I mean, certainly a very nice payoff for anybody able to crack the set.
I mean, I will say, like a lot of people are asking me how much product did I open to get my copies, and the answer is none, because I did not find any sealed product. I was lucky enough that the event I had to drive 5 hours to had 2 vendors in PPG and the Forbidden Mountain, and between both of them, I was able to get quite a few of the new cards. I'm still missing some Nalas. I'm still missing the new Alice. I'm still missing, I think, the new Queen. But yeah, like I had to go to 2 separate vendors that I was like lucky enough to drive 5 hours and find. So I'm hoping that I think what we've been hearing is that they're doing this in waves. So like this is wave 1 and wave 2 will be coming out sometime.
Yeah. And I don't think, I'll mention the product scarcity because well, to segue to this is a very polarizing set. I've learned. I did a video about how I think the set is great for a number of reasons. It's not for everybody. acknowledge right up front that the reprints are a turnoff for many players who've been here since the beginning and don't care to, plus up on a lot of the cards that I have. I get it. But for a variety of reasons, I do think this set was a huge step in the right direction. And a lot of people, very upset or commented and said the set's not for them because of reprints. And then a number of people commented on the scarcity, criticizing the company for releasing so little product. Some people seem to think that this was all a plan to drive up, artificial scarcity. I don't think that's the case at all. I don't think this was planned. I think that Ravensburger is probably just as upset as everybody else, if not more so, that there were like pre-release events that were canceled due to lack of product. That's not what they want. I do believe what the company said, that there were some logistical issues which led them to decide to bleed it out in waves like they did. But it's certainly not ideal. But it is leading to, I do think, some of the distorted prices. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see when we get the mass release this weekend, how much that does affect things. Although how many booster boxes do we get at wide market release? A lot of troves, a lot of loose packs, but
I have no idea. So I'm probably an anomaly here because most opening weekends I do my best to get 4x of every base version of the card, and normally I'll go because I've been doing this since set one. I have just a lot of friends and things that have shops, so across my different friends I can normally get around 2 cases of product. This time I didn't decide to do that just because I only needed 33 new cards because I didn't want to get all of the reprints again that say set 9 at the bottom. So yeah, I'm an anomaly because I don't know what the average is. But I will say that we have been through a shortage like this before. This isn't the first time. I mean, those of us who've been here from the beginning, set 1 was very much so like this. Set 2 also very much so had product problems. I remember during set 2, I went to 3 different stores opening weekends, and all I could get was a single starter deck.
Yeah.
So, I'm not new to it.
Right. Well, I was gonna say, we all remember the original, from Rise of the Floodborn and first chapter, the product shortages, but even Arcasia's Island, I think because of Tamatoa is what I attribute it to. There was a period where LGSs were out, and people just couldn't get it. And I do attribute that to the high EV of the Tamatoa forced. Also, shout out to Gate and Call from all the way from Europe. It's super early in the morning there, or late at night, whichever way you look at it. So thanks for tuning in, and appreciate your content. Gate, and you do great stuff with card spoilers and or card reveals, and then documenting stuff. So big shout out. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I also I want to agree with Gaten's comment here too. Saying this is the best set of Lorcana. In isolation, if you ignore the fact that a lot of these are reprints, as a standalone set in terms of cards and new franchise interest and all that, it might be the best set. Part of that's due to the new rarities. Part of that's due to the upscaled enchanted finishes and what they've done with that, with the gold embossing and everything else. Part of that's just a new treatments, but also there are some legendaries and some super rares which are not super playable. But I mean, Dumbo is a super played card. Hades, in isolation, fantastic card in this meta. Elsa, fantastic legendary. So there's just a lot of good cards in this set as well. And in isolation, again, I just think it's a fantastic set.
I mean, so for anybody that I do know that was able to go to opening weekend events that were doing sealed and things like that, Colors Law, for instance, she went to her local and she said opening packs, this set has been the best pack opening experience she's had in the game's history. I don't know what I was expecting of the epics in person, but I will say that the epics look so beautiful, rivaling legendaries, and enchanted's level of just how pretty they are. I was really, really surprised.
Yeah. Honestly, the enchanted finishes too were something that kind of flew under the radar for me. I was so excited about Iconics. I was so excited about epics, and then even the new foiling stamp and the glossy finish we have in Hades and all that. I don't know why, but I didn't even realize it until I saw the first enchanted in person, that they had the gold embossing and that they just looked so bonkers cool.
Yeah. I mean, they say what you will, man. I feel like every set for the highest rarity cards, they really just push it. I mean, they really try to give us as beautiful cards as they can when we're going for it. I mean, I mean, I'm just gonna say it just because I'm biased. Like the Dumbo Enchanted is probably one of my favorite artworks of the set. It's just absolutely beautiful, and then you see it in person, and just the coloring of it alone is just insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to see it in person, actually. Oh, look at that. Yeah. Just bring it up here. Yeah, I don't know. I do think that even with previous sets, and certainly the first few sets, like I've always loved Enchanteds. I think they're beautiful cards. I love the artwork. And certainly if you go all the way back to Elsa in set 1, like it's one of the most beautiful Lorcana cards ever. But when you do see like older Lorcana Enchanted side by side with premium cards from other collectible card games, it did feel like there was more they could do. And like this set, I feel like is finally where Enchanteds like really, really hit their stride as like the premium card. I can't talk and do this at the same time. Here's the Dumbo.
No, for sure. I mean, like just between, I mean, just everything about them, man. Like I said, when I saw the epics in person, I don't know what I was expecting, but they're so much better than I thought they would be.
Yeah. Yeah, it's same.
And just look at the little boy. Look at his feather. He's just having a good time.
I know. It tells a story, right? Like look at him on the Illuminary there. That's super fun. I need this card. Oh darn it. This set's gonna cost me so much money. Yeah, so another fun like detail kind of flies under the radar or flies under the radar. I don't know. When you look at the epics, I don't know. People may know this. It took me a while to figure it out. They use rainbow foiling, PET treatment instead of the silver foiling of normal cards. So even it's not just the full art frame, but very few cards in Lorcana have used rainbow foiling as opposed to just standard silver foiling or cold foiling. And so the finish you're getting on that card is different. Yeah, rainbow foiling is seldom used in Lorcana, so it's just interesting. Yeah. So
I mean, just I'm sure we could just rant about it all night. Literally every new, well, I say new, but everything down from the promo cards. I even saw at my event, I got a Strength of a Raging Fire promo. Even the promos look better than they ever have, which is like they didn't have to do that.
no.
But they did. Like, I'm not somebody who goes to League a lot, so I don't normally get a lot of promos. Like I have a few. Like when they reprinted the Buckies, I wanted those just because I wanted the errata Bucky. But just if I ever wanted to play with new Bucky, but like all of the new promos just have like this. They just look different. They look better. It's like they put more effort into it, and I think that's just kind of the. I think that's just kind of the stamp on this set. It just feels like in general they've put more effort into making epics, iconics, enchanteds feel like their namesakes.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Is this true? Splink says, are people switching from Pokemon for this set? I hope this is true.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I would love to have just more people playing Lorcana in general. I mean, like, I will say I've seen a lot of new people in general consuming Lorcana content, which has been really, really refreshing. As far as marketing goes, I think they've knocked it out of the park with this set too. I think this is their really big push to get Lorcana into the public eye, and I think it's working.
Yeah. I agree. I did a video, again, polarizing video. This set polarizes people more than any other I've seen, but I did a video on why I think the set was so good. And, the 4 things I highlighted, if I can remember them, one was the adding the rarities and making the pack opening experience better. So that was 1, just the pack opening experience. 2 is the EV. I do think that those 2 work hand in hand. I think adding the rarities added a little bit of extra to the EV of products, and that relative to other sets, the estimated value of each of these sealed products will be a little bit higher over time. I'm not super confident in that. Talking about EV is super dangerous. But
we are not financial advisors.
You're not financial advisors, but I do think that might be the case. The third thing was just the marketing of the set. I do think Welcome to the Story and the way that they branded the set and everything else, along with the events associated with it, like Collection Quest and all that, make the set appealing to new people who have not experienced Lorcana before and make them feel like this is a good entry point for them. And the fourth thing was something equally brilliant, and I forget what it is, but it was super cool, I'm sure. But anyway,
So, like, just to touch on that a little bit, I was having a conversation with somebody, I forget who, before the set came out. And obviously it was when we were seeing, okay, we're only getting 33 new cards. Most of the set's going to be reprints. What is Ravensburger's strategy to get new players into the game? Like, what is their long-term goal to keep the growth of it going? And I think it's just naturally happened. I don't know that they've had to do anything insane other than what they've done. I mean, it's been so much more present at the parks from what I hear. I know Colors Law went to a Quest in the Park event, and from what she was saying, the amount of new players that were there that were just interested, like, what is this? What is this new art on Bell? Because I think one of the events was, you get the Bell promo. I think there was another event to get a Beast promo. Like, it was just drawing people in that love Disney in general. So I don't know. Like, I think you and I are kind of on the positive end of the spectrum when we talk about the growth and longevity of the game. But I genuinely think that this set is showing us that the game has legs more so than anybody ever even dreamed it does.
I agree. And I do. And I think all of us, anybody who's made Lorcana content, I think sees, the potential in this game's growth when it comes to Disney collectors as well. It is, I will say, it is first and foremost most important that Lorcana maintains, that it remains a good game and a really fun game to play. I've heard competitive players describe this as the best game that they've ever played competitively, former Magic Pro Tour players. And I do think that that's first and foremost what makes this game amazing. But when you look at a game like Pokemon, which clearly dominates the TCG space, I think the statistic is it's somewhere around 20 to 25% of people who consume Pokemon cards, who buy it, who support the game, actually play the game. And there's so many more who just collect it because the art is beautiful and they love the characters. There is that whole market out there still, which I think is largely untapped. And it's an interesting phenomenon that we're going to see. This segues something else. It's an interesting phenomenon that I think we're going to see at some point. I think there will be a tipping point where more and more both Disney collectors and just normal like card collectors discover or rediscover Lorcana, because there were a lot of them who were here in the first chapter and then they left as product became more available and they couldn't, scout boxes for $300 a box. At some point, those people will rediscover the game and will start to chase enchanteds and iconics as collectibles. And I don't know when that is. Fabled might be when it happens, but when that does happen, we're going to see, you will not see like Target shelves with like empty Pokemon section and then all of the Lorcana blisters. At some point, I think we're going to start to see less and less of that as more and more people who have not been members of the Lorcana community yet, like rediscover the game.
No, I absolutely agree. I mean, with this set, for sure, bringing in the new rarities, I feel like is not targeting the people who've been here for forever, right? We're already going to buy product. We're already buying the game. We're already, those of us who chase shinies are going after them. It's for those people that maybe saw some enchanteds and were like, that's cool, but like it's a Disney princess, I'm not going for it. But when you see the Mickey and Minnie iconics, I mean, I've seen them in person now, and my gosh, they are, I mean, just above and beyond what you expect enchanteds to be. Anybody who collects card games, from Pokemon to Magic to whatever, cannot look at the iconics, I think, and not see value in longevity for collecting them. And if we keep on going with that trend, which I fully believe that we are going to have, some level of iconics, 2 or more per set going forward, it's just going to keep the collectors hooked, more or less.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree, especially these new enchanteds. But yeah,
I mean, like, we say it every time, but every set, like, I feel like they just up the enchanteds. And this one, I think, was the first time we really saw some player feedback coming into the enchanted picks. I mean, we just see absolute bangers for picks, or like crowd favorites like Winnie the Pooh Honey Wizard, something that I know people since set 2 have been like, wow, this would be so cool if it was an enchanted. So we're seeing things like that come back. So they're obviously listening to us and they're seeing like what the demand is. I just, going forward, again, I know I'm always on on the top end of the positive spectrum, but I'm super excited for the future of the game.
Yeah, me too. Me too. That being said, before I get to this comment and before we change subject slightly, I will say, I will acknowledge right up front too. Like, I acknowledge all of you players who've been here since the beginning and who say that this set isn't for you because of the number of reprints. Totally get it. I do think this set is one of the best. I will also acknowledge though that for some people who do not care about shiny cards and are just players, that this might not be the perfect set for you, and that is a bummer, and that's okay. I think there's trade-offs with this set, and I don't know, but I do, as you said, Logan, and I think as Gaten has said in the chat, and Villain, a couple times here, this set is a step in the right direction in terms of improving the collectability of the game and improving the pack opening experience. And we have to acknowledge whether or not this is a set that you're eager to collect, those right steps. And I think applaud the company for continuing to push the quality of the product set after set after set.
No, for sure. And like much to that guy's, who was it that you just highlighted that you took away for a second?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Lorcana Luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or Lorcana Lu, however you say it. I'm terrible.
Low
Lux.
It's French.
So that was like genuinely something that I heard from new players for a while. I had a few coaching sessions where people would ask me, if you weren't playing Maui Shark, or if you weren't playing Tamatoa, if you weren't playing X expensive card, what would you replace it with? And my answer always was like, there's not a lot that you can replace that card with. You can fill those slots and you can still do some things, but it will never be as inherently powerful as what those cards are. That's why they have the price tag that they do. And that's why Dumbo right now is the price tag that he is. I know I didn't talk about it a lot when I was going over my deck, but Dumbo right now, we are in a meta where challenging matters, stats matter. And you just kind of hit board states where people are staring at each other and not questing, not challenging, not doing anything. And Dumbo just kind of breaks that parity. He allows you to do something with your characters and gain card advantage at the same time. When you hit mid to late games where people are like, I'm not turning sideways until you do. And you're like, cool, I'm going to do it, but I'm drawing cards while I do it. Well, all of a sudden they have to answer you and you were just filling up. We are in a meta that honestly feels really, really reminiscent of set 1 and 2. I feel like a lot of people who may not have been here from the beginning forgot what it was like to not have Brawl or Big Sisu or have to slowly get to 7 ink and then hope you had to be prepared. So like all of us who played sets 1 through 3, like, Bannable Harkin and I was talking about this past week. Like, man, if you played Amethyst Mirrors back in the day, like this is your bread and butter. Like,
yeah,
it's almost like going back home. But there are a lot of people that aren't quite used to this low resource, take the board type of game. So some people are having to relearn the game, and that's exciting, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So shout out to Lorcana Lu for that comment. And I'm actually seeing, as you've been talking about that, Logan, there's numerous people here in the chat who've said, that they know people who have come back for the game, like Gaten calling out here, people who have come back just for this set because they're excited about it. Which is true. The other thing I'll say is like we forget sometimes, especially those of us who are just like fully invested in this game and who stream every week, that it is perfectly natural in people's TCG like life to enjoy the hobby in waves. People leave and come back. Sometimes it's for financial reasons, sometimes it's for time reasons, but it is really important that the company continue to find ways to draw people back in and to invite them back into the game. Or to give them access points because, at any given time, people are leaving the hobby and new people are entering, and I took 19 years off of Magic and I came back, so it's just natural. Anyway, well, let's talk a little bit about a different format, Logan, because with rotation that introduced Core Constructor, or the new version of Core Constructor, we rotated out sets, but it also introduced a new format. It's where the Eternal format diverged from Core Constructed with Infinity, and we saw our first Infinity event this weekend. I think
we did.
Yeah. down at SSG. So I'd kind of like to hear from somebody who participated in that event and did very well what that was like, and whether or not Infinity was actually, before I ask him, what do you think about Infinity right now? Do you think some of these new cards like Dumbo have had a huge impact on that format, or is it the same old, same old?
So Dumbo, no, I don't think makes it a place in Infinity, but there are new cards that do. Nala, for instance, the Steel Nala turns out is really, really good in Infinity. Turns out when you can play Piglet into Nala, it's just like you're just putting so much lore on board. It's insane. The new Aurora in Steel Song that allows you to play out a princess character for one last after she quests. Turns out when you play Ariel on turn 2, the Singer 5 Ariel is pretty good. I genuinely think a lot of us thought going into this weekend, Ruby Sapphire and Sapphire Steel of old with Hiram and Fortisphere would just kind of be the thing. It's like, okay, cool, we're just going back to like set 7 meta before the bans. And that's not even remotely what we saw. Like none of those decks even, I think one Sapphire Steel made top cut and the rest of them either bubbled out or just didn't make it.
That, I mean, to me, that's super exciting to have two kind of living formats like that. That on the one hand, it's a little more intimidating to keep up with. On the other hand, I think that's super great.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. When we saw Zach Bivens and he played Merlin Crab again, I was like, ah,
it's back. Well, let's bring in Ezekiel Murphy, who took second place. He was the runner-up at the SSG like Invitational Infinity event down there. I have to give Ezekiel's been in the green room like people normally are for like an hour, and I got to make sure I give him warning before I put him on camera. So Ezekiel, you're coming in. Boom.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up?
Great. How are you?
Good.
Thanks for taking time this Wednesday to join us.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, how you feeling after this weekend?
Good. I mean, it was a really great weekend. The like invitational tournament, super stacked room. I think like 12 golden Mickeys. You have like 3-4 people that were playing in Worlds. So like a really strong room. I think the meta was actually super interesting. And not at all what we were practicing for. Leading up to the event, I thought it was going to be like all red blue steel mid range, very little yellow steel. And even when I got to the event, I was going around the room and I was talking to everybody. What are you playing? Everyone's like, "Oh, I'm the only one playing yellow steel today. There's going to be like 2 other people playing yellow steel." And then I slowly figured out that like everyone was playing yellow steel. Like I felt like half the room was yellow steel, and all the red blue got like slaughtered by the new like yellow steel setups.
Yeah, dude, it was just so fast. Like,
the Nala.
I was watching all weekend, and I was like, you're at 15 by turn 3, and there's like nothing you can do to stop it.
Yeah, I'm looking at I'll highlight this for the audience here, and we'll look at your deck in a moment. But to illustrate your point, I'm looking, and here's like blue steel, here's amber steel, and you go down, you're like, where's the red blue? Here's a sneaky little emerald amethyst making it in here.
Shout out to Tiago, my hero.
Yeah, right, keeping it alive with a $125 deck. Look at that. Although Ezekiel, your $59 deck here, like that is hilarious to me. As we keep going down, you're like, where are they all? Where are they? Oh, here they are. Here's
way down there.
Red, blue hanging out down here in a group together with some great players. I mean, Hector, fantastic player, CCS winner.
Bumbles was up there. The R&B was also playing Ruby Sapphire.
Coming down. I mean, and we see, just to highlight, some other great players are there. I mean, there's Zan there in the top 8. Ben Fishman, I know. I mean, just some great Jonathan Williams there. Of course, if they're the highest red blue list is Jonathan Williams there, trying to keep it real with his tried and true. Bivens there with his colors that he's known for, amethyst steel. So yeah, stacked room. Jack Morales there with Chernadogs. Everybody trying to play their tried and true decks. Look at that. Jonathan Lamb there with blue steel. Kendall Burdett, blue steel.
Which is not what I've thought Kendall of all people.
I know. But like I'm going through the list and I'm like, oh yeah, that person's on that person's on that. Kendall, I did a little bit of a double take. Anyway. Well, let's take a look at your list here. Ezekiel, what do you got going on?
Yeah, so Kiwi Birds, blue steel, lower to the ground, not like that mid-range. We're not looking to ramp. We're mainly looking to just curve out. We're still playing like item package with pops and forts. We're not playing docks. We're just playing the Hiram. Just because the Hiram by itself is like strong enough to keep the draw engine going. But the real core of the deck is like playing the Savvy Sailor Alice on 3, and with following up with like Pluto and then like a Chempo. And just being able to quest and give like ward to like your big bodyguard is just super hard to clear, especially actually for Yellow Steel. Like Yellow Steel has like very little outs once like a Chempo is out and it's warded.
Because no one was running grab your swords.
Yeah.
What a shame.
No one's running grab your swords. Very little crab, fox.
Yeah, like I'm not surprised that we didn't see a lot of like Emerald Amethyst, just because that was, I mean, the room is just full of Amber Steel anyway. But I feel like Emerald Amethyst might have done more if there was more of it, just because of how much you just needed to challenge down. Crab making a comeback might have been the thing that took over the room, just gauging the numbers.
Yeah. I played against a purple emerald round 1. It was like one of like the mid range or like tempo, kind of like tempo centric deck. And the only problem with that deck is like I have more like clear, like I have like storms and strengths. I can get Bell out on 1 to start like taking out his tempo early. And then the Plutos and the Chempos are even tougher for them to clear and deal with, even with like foxes and crabs. He was running like less fox and crabs because he was more like lower to the ground, trying to be more aggressive.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, like, you just get out of Bell and you're just like, cool, strength or storm, and now all of my little weenies get to live forever.
Yeah. It was a good reminder of how strong like Bell with Popsicle and Fortisphere is like very, very strong.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. Fortisphere definitely makes sense to ban, and Pop definitely makes sense not to bring back, because Bell being able to sing like strength and storm against Yellow Steel is super strong. I ended up playing 5 Yellow Steels throughout my whole run. Went like 3-2 against it. And every game, like I beat Yellow Steel. Like if I beat Yellow Steel on the draw, I always beat them because I had some kind of like Pop Bell with some kind of follow up on their early characters. Like the Aurora is really cool, but it just like if you get the Pop Bell on 1, they turn sideways to get their princess out, but you just instantly kill it with the bell. And even if they don't turn it sideways, you just storm it or strength it, and then it's gone already. And then they don't have that like 1-drop Singer and Cindy to be able to clear out your bell with like a 1-drop Cindy and then turn to like double Daisy strength.
That's the thing I was noticing with like Zan's build. I know he was going for the Queen shift line pretty early. I think he was like going Aurora into Ariel or just trying to get the turn 2 Queen. And watching Zach Bivens play against that list, he just had to fire the cannons for the shift target every time. It's like, cool, that thing you're trying to do, no longer.
Yeah, I ended up playing against that list because Zan was on it, but also his friend Jeremy, who's on the podcast with him together.
Mm-hmm.
He was on the same list, and he was my round 4 opponent. And it's just he has no way to like deal with the Chempo or Pluto once it's warded up from like an Alice. Like even if he gets a Queen down, like he would shift Queen, quest, pump something up, but because the bodyguard is warded, he can't lower the bodyguard's strength. So whatever he swings into the bodyguard trades with the bodyguard. And then as long as you have like a Pete, a Bell, a Shmi, they just kill the Queen because the Queen has to turn sideways to give that buff. And then you just drop another bodyguard and just keep questing.
I think like their iteration was probably the most, I don't know, I guess new, if that's the word you want to use, the most out there looking list. So I can see how that would like throw people off. But if you have the tools to deal with the shift targets early, you just immediately was like, cool, all right, that never gets to stay around longer than 1 turn, because then your entire game plan falls apart.
Yeah, it was a really cool deck and to see and everything. But I do think like just playing Cindy on 1, I think is better. Like playing not the Queen shift line, I think is just better. Like the Queen shift line is good. It's just the Queen dies as soon as it turns sideways.
I mean, I think it's also just that surprise in Infinity, right?
Yeah.
Like the first time you play against it, you're just not sure what exactly is going on and what exactly the real threats are.
Yeah, I mean, I had 0 testing against that deck. I only tested against Yellow Steel like 2 games because I didn't even think I would see it at all. I spent like 30 games against red blue and against different blue steel decks. But I didn't play I only played like 2 games against yellow steel because I just didn't think it would be there at all. I remember Chuck, the guy who won, we were talking before the event started, and I was like, "Oh, what are you playing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm playing, traditional steel song." Like, he's like, "I don't think I have like a set 7 or set 8 card in here." And he was like, "I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go 0-3." But obviously that didn't happen.
Turns out, good old Steel Song still has the legs to take it.
Nothing beats you.
The craziness of Steel Song is that even in Infinity, with nothing new, you can still just wheel your way out of any bad situation.
Yeah. I remember like our last game, he hit like the absolute like wheel nuts, where you just spam all the characters, wheel, hits another wheel, and then it's just over.
Yeah, I'm looking at. I was interested, because you were talking about how Steel Song is everywhere, or Amber Steel anyway is everywhere. It could be Steel Song, it could be the aggro build, but and I was curious if it was actually like well represented at the tournament, or if it just converted that well. And as I'm scanning the tournament results, and of course these tournament results aren't comprehensive. It doesn't have all 64 decks in Ink decks. It has a good chunk of them, but it just seems like the conversion rate is really high.
Yeah.
That, I mean, I don't know that it was that better represented than red blue. It just seems like it just did really well.
Well, I mean, like we watched on stream, right? Like all of the low to the ground Ember Steel list just ate all the Sapphire list for the most part. And then, I mean, Chuck just on traditional was able to just kind of eat all of the random low to the ground Amber Steel list because that's just what Steel Song always has done. So, I mean, part of it, I guess, was just part of what the meta was that day and how things shook out. But I mean, it's some of the best players in the world in that room. So, like, we might see that kind of filter as we see more Infinity events happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just taking a look at some of the other notes from this. I don't know. It's interesting. I will highlight again. I mentioned it, and I mentioned it right up front. But your deck cost. I do think it is interesting. People talk about how, and we talked about earlier, how sometimes these formats, these tournaments, can be unapproachable due to the value of certain cards and the value of certain decks. Therefore, but you taking second place here with a deck that really, I mean, the value is propped up by like the one Lilo, and then the Baymaxes. Other than that, I mean, this is besides those, this is a $40 deck, even a $30 deck, which is pretty awesome to see in a competitive setting.
You want to talk about budget?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think this deck is super strong. This is what I played in set 7, something very similar. This Kiwi Birds with like Alice and everything. I just think it's like with Chenpo and Pluto in Hiram, Alice is just really, really strong. Because it can ward up your Hiram so it survives longer. You have Bell that gets you to turn 3 with Alice out. And just not many people are put in a position with their decks where they're able to clear a 5/5 and then a 4/7 that are both warded up like back to back.
Yeah.
Lorcana, it was best of 3. I feel like going forward in any Lorcana format, unless otherwise specified, it's going to be best of 3. We've even, the DLC Bologna and Milwaukee's are best of 3 until told otherwise. So,
yeah. Gayton highlighting the Anna's in your deck. Fun to drop.
Oh yeah, Anna's actually a really good card against red blue. So I actually didn't really play it very much against yellow steel. It's kind of dead. But against red blue, it's really good. Just because it starts questing really fast. The other option would be like Calhoun as the 2-drop, but Calhoun's like really dead against red blue because you really want to go like get under it super fast. So that Anna, like generally you always have like the Alice on 3 or like a Bell out, so that Anna's always questing for 2. So that's why it's really good against red blue. But against yellow steel, it's a decent quester. It's just not like Calhoun would have been a lot better.
Yeah. Interesting notes. Yeah. So I'm curious your thoughts, and I guess Xenios, everybody's thoughts on Infinity versus Core Constructed. Like you played in both tournaments this weekend.
I played just Infinity, but I am going to CCS this weekend.
Okay, well, I'll see you there. Make sure to say hi. Maybe we'll get you on stream for an interview because it'd be fun to chat with you there as well. So yeah, make sure you come and say hi. But But like, so I know initially when rotation was announced and core constructed now would be, you know, using the most recentest going forward. They announced Infinity as a way to continue using your old cards. And there's a lot of people who were very, very paranoid that Infinity wouldn't be supported. And then, and so not many people would play it to be kind of a dead format. And that B, the format would, because of the power level of cards that have been printed previously, it would so closely mirror what we had in standard at the time, that it would be kind of boring, and there wouldn't be a lot of variance and deviation. Having experienced your first Infinity Constructed tournament, do you think that this format has legs independent of Core Constructed, and do you think we will see it as supported as Core Constructed moving forward?
I think it's a pretty good format. To be honest, I thought going into the format it was going to be super boring, and I thought I was only going to be playing against like red blue like all day, because that's kind of what like set 7 was. Like I played in a lot of the SSG set 7 events, and like their release event for set 7 was like I played against like 5 red blues in like 7 rounds. But seeing all the yellow steel was like very surprising. You even saw like the purple green Diago. I love Diago. He says amazing lists. He's an amazing player. But seeing him like being able to get top 8 on purple green, I think the format will be probably supported. You see like a lot of like side events or Infinity, even like big tournaments. I think Ink is doing an Infinity thing.
We will. Sunday will be Infinity.
Yeah. So you're gonna see like cash tournaments be Infinity and a lot of side events, and in Indianapolis, like 1/3 of the DLCs are Infinity. So like once we get to like Indianapolis time, like people are only going to be wanting to test Infinity. So I think the format definitely has legs. I think it's strong. I think as newer cards come out, you won't see them being played very much, because I do think a lot of the older cards are just very, very strong. Like B preps are just very strong. Aerial's very strong. All the removal, steel removal that got rotated out is just very strong. Hiram's very strong. I think they should. I thought going into it they should ban Hiram for Infinity, but then it had like no conversion. I think there was only 2 Hirams in top 8.
Really?
Yeah, because it was just me and Justin.
You and Justin.
Yeah. And even then, I was playing like an aggro deck. I wasn't even playing like a mid range or like a late game Hiram deck where I'm looking to draw like a ton. Like I'm really only looking to get like 2, 3, maybe Hiram draws off. So I think the format definitely has legs. I think it's a fun format. I think it's gonna be very either like aggro centric or like red blue centric, just because like all the decks want to get super fast under B prep. So B prep kind of forces a situation where you can't really have like mid range in a sense, because if you like go super wide kind of mid range, you just get like B prepped and then it's over. So you have to kind of get super under red blue if that's what you're worried about. But I think it's a fun format. You know, I just think it's like I like this new format like with rotation, because it's very mid range. It feels like this format. Like we're like big wide boards are getting established. There's a lot less like really broken draw cards. I think Dumbo's kind of broken, but besides Dumbo, there's a lot less. Doc's kind of broken too a little bit, but there's no like huge board wipes, so it's kind of nice playing a format like this new rotation that doesn't have board wipes. But also board wipes are like a necessary evil in like a lot of card games.
Yeah. Hiram being legal in Infinity is the only reason I have one of my altered zombie style. Interesting. That's funny. Send us a picture of that, Sawyer. I want to see what that looks like. I need to see this photo. Yeah, no, it is interesting how different they are and how they give you completely different play experiences, or different play experiences. So, yeah.
I mean, very much so. I mean, we kind of touched on it at the beginning. I feel like Fabled core constructed has moved more so, you know, to the sets 1 through 3, or we're just playing for the board. We don't have a lot of like point and click. That thing is gone and banished from the field now. And a lot of people just kind of forgot what that was like. So it's fun to go back to it. But then seeing Infinity come and like, no, Sisu's still alive and Cogsworth is still alive, and along came Zeus and Storm and, you know, Popsicle Bell, those still exist. But seeing how they shake out against each other with some of these new Fabled cards. I feel like seeing, kind of like Ezekiel touched on, like just some of the aggro cards. The one I saw a lot that was a problem was Nala. Like, my God, the amount of pressure Nala puts on is insane.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So Zeke, going into next weekend, you're going to be at CCS. I don't want to ask you what you're playing because I don't want you to have to tip your hand, but should we expect to see you with something kind of spicy and new there, or are you sticking with something a little more tried and true?
Probably playing one of the 3 rock paper scissors decks.
Yeah,
format's very rock paper scissors. I was looking at still making like Alice work. I think there's potential there, but I would need to workshop it a little bit more.
Now, when we've kind of touched on it, but I don't think Logan, we've put it in terms of like rock paper scissors. How would you describe the rock paper scissors dynamic?
You asking Zeke?
Right.
I think
both of you, either one. Like,
I'd like to hear from Zeke. He's the guest.
I think like you have a situation where Blurple loses to Amber Steel, but it should beat Purple Steel. Purple Steel should lose to Blurple, but beat Amber Steel. And then Amber Steel loses to Purple Steel, which should beat Blurple. The only thing I think is in that like triangle, I think Purple Steel's bad matchup, Blurple, is the easiest to like turn in your favor out of the bad matchups. Like I think for Blurple, Amber Steel is like the hardest matchup. And then Amber Steel also has a tough time dealing with Purple Steel. But I think Amethyst Steel, if you like go wide enough and high roll with like your dot combo, you can like still beat Blurple, like even on the draw. So I think like Amethyst Steel, in my opinion, is the best deck. And I think you saw like a pretty good conversion rate on it, especially at the SSG event. Specifically, I think like Yellow Steel is the worst deck because I just think it has like very little chance against Purple Steel, like in the rock paper scissors. Whereas and then Blurple is like the second best of the two, in my opinion. Where like it's really tough for it to beat Amber Steel, it still can, and then it should beat Purple Steel.
Interesting.
I'm flipped. I think Blurple is. I think just because of the pure removal tools and things it can do, being able to just take out a Tiana with a song is insane. Not to say that that's just how it goes every time. Obviously, I think there's just some draws that Blurple is never beating. I think triple Daisy into Tiana is just something that no deck is beating. But I don't know that it's as cut and dry as there's like just a pure triangle. I think Amber Steel can build itself in a way to be favored this way or that. I think Amethyst Steel can do the same, where it can be favored this way or that. And I think Blurple just kind of sits in that mid category where it just kind of has a solid matchup into most things. And any tech you put into it might give you a couple of percentage points here and there, but it's not going to swing it as wildly as you can with the builds you can make of Amber Steel and Amethyst Steel.
Yeah. I don't know. It is interesting. I do like, particularly in this meta, and we saw this, last too, how you can take either one of these packages. Blurple is, I think, a little more standard, although there's some things you can do with it. But I do think it's really interesting how you can take Amethyst Steel or Amber Steel and go like multiple different directions with it to tailor it, specific ways, depending on what you think. Okay, hold on. I'm getting this picture, which you might see in the meta. But yeah, I don't know.
Do we see Zombie Hiram?
Yeah, I think so. We're gonna find it here. Yeah. Zombie Hiram. There he is. Let me pull him over. That's fun. Yeah, I don't know, but certainly you'd both agree we have, we kind of have the 3 best decks represented there. Those 3. Yeah.
No, for sure. I think if you're going to an event anywhere, be it locals or a bigger event, you need to be able to handle all 3 of those and the myriad of threats in all 3 of those. And if you aren't confident that you can have some legs into all 3, then you should probably play one of the 3.
Yeah. All right. Well, my screen is messed up and I cannot pull up my other screen.
He was there for a second.
Oh, was he? Hold on. There
he is.
He's back. He's back. Zombie Hiram lives, apparently.
Our favorite toy maker coming back.
Yep. That's the rumors of my demise have been greatly exaggerated, he says. That's fun. Well, Zeke, any last thoughts going into CCS? I don't know.
I think if there is a deck that's not like the big, like the three that could potentially be good, is like some kind of blue steel. I think there's like a lot of different builds of it right now. I think once like one gets like optimized, it could potentially like crack kind of like that tier one. But I think it's like the best tier two deck. If you don't want to play something that's like the big meta three, I would say right now. I think blue steel is where it's at. I just think it's like super high rolly. Like the Jasmine stuff's very high rolly. The Scar, you have to like, you need like 4 or 5 things to go right to like get a nut draw. It's kind of like green steel with like Beyond the Horizon, where like if you set it all up correctly, you can draw like 12 cards. But if not, then you're just not going to draw anything, and you're just going to lose.
No, I agree. I think like right now in tier 2, there's like 4 or 5 different decks that need either a little bit of optimization or just like one extra card to make it, just to push it.
Yeah, like I think if red green could get like just some kind of like decent draw.
You heard it here. Zeke said, "Bring back Diablo."
Bring back Diablo. Well, Zeke, I can't wait to see how you do at CCS. You started crushing people in Infinity. We'll see how Core Constructed goes. For those who are interested in following Zeke and his journey, how he's doing, or connecting with him at all, I just dropped a link to his Twitter feed in the comments, and I'll make sure to get that in the show notes as well if you're watching this later. That's how I know you're active there, you and your team, because that's how I found out about your finish this week. So let me pop an image up there. Well, people can follow in the comments there. And yeah, I can't wait to see you at CCS this weekend.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I can't wait to see you. Huge shout out too to the Inkcaster team.
Yes, do it.
Like my team, like they stayed like the whole time, even when like they were already knocked out. They stayed the entire time. My girlfriend was there the whole time. She's on the team. She plays as well. She's really awesome. She's been on stream at SSG like multiple times. I think even your like she was interviewed before. She's right there.
Hello.
Hey.
So she's awesome. She's a really great player. She actually generally finishes better than me until this event.
Did we chat at the last CCS? Is that?
No, she was she talked to your wife, Aaron. She was interviewed by Aaron at the Reign of Jafar tournament.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. I wish Aaron was here. That was fun. Well, shout out to her, shout out to your team. I'm gonna drop a link to your team here on Twitter as well. Look at this. Team Incasters has 95 followers on Twitter. I bet we can get that up to 100 by the end of the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we have our own podcast too that we're working on. We're just trying to do cool content, cool stuff. Shout out to Dave who like runs all the podcast stuff. He's a super cool guy. Shout out to like Matt, Nixon, all those guys, Dan, Allen, Taylor, like Tyler. The whole team is super awesome. Great bunch of guys. Shout out to Dylan too. Great bunch of guys, great team. Shout out to Prodigy, our local store as well.
That's awesome. I'll tell you what, if we can get before the end of the show, if we can get Team Incasters up to 100 followers, I will give a pack of cards, and I'll open it here on Steam to Sawyer Tessimer for sharing that it's the connections here. I don't know why I make decisions I do, but I'll open a pack of cards here for Sawyer out of my pack of goodies over there. If we can get Incasters up to 100 followers. So 95 right now. We'll see if we can do it. All right. Keep an eye on that. Well, thanks, Zeke. I can't wait to see you next weekend. Shout out to your team. And yeah, congrats on an awesome performance.
Thank you.
No, huge congrats, man. Like, it was a fantastic performance.
Yeah. And everybody looking for an affordable deck, $60. Go take a look. Get your Lilos now. I'm just saying. All right. Take it easy. That's super fun. I really enjoyed seeing Infinity highlighted last weekend.
No, for sure. Like I said, I feel like both in Core Constructed and Infinity, we just had an expectation of what was going to be there, and in both instances, we were surprised.
Yeah, I agree. I really, oh my goodness, teammate captures up to 99, just like that. Look at that. So that's fun. That's one of the okay. That's one of the things about this is random, but before we bring in our next guest, who is an amazing creator as well, making content is I don't know. It's time consuming. It's hard. It's expensive. It still costs us money every month. But what makes it worthwhile is getting to do fun things and to highlight, fun players, to share pictures of like Zombie Hiram and to meet, to have an excuse to meet awesome people like Ezekiel who are like taking down tournaments and stuff. It's just super cool to get to do fun things. And so, getting to highlight a team like Inkcasters and what they're doing is just super cool. I enjoy it. So this is fun stuff.
Yeah, especially like, just a guy as cool as Zeke.
Yeah. All right. Well, any final thoughts on Infinity before we move on?
I expect we're going to see a completely different landscape at Inc. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I don't know. I think it's going to be as varied as what we imagined this one would be. I don't know that we'll see Amber Steel take it down again, but I don't know. See what happens. That's just my prediction.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I don't know. I'm gonna be interested to see how, especially some of the who I would call pro players, some of the top players, manage to tackle two distinct metas, because you only have so much time, and you can devote if you have, right? If you only have 20 hours a week, you have two formats, and how do you choose to split your time when you're trying to come up with two different games, essentially?
I will spoil it for you. You get to pick.
I do wonder if we will see like specialists in one format over another, people who become known for.
Absolutely. I imagine so, especially with one of the DLCs being all Infinity. I think that's for sure going to be one of like the divergent paths that competitive play takes.
Yeah, I agree. Let me do this in the chat. All right. Okay, well, let's bring in our next guest, because in addition to competitive play and having some awesome tournaments last weekend, we saw Disney. So big picture, over the last month, really, we've seen Disney itself lean really hard into marketing and supporting Lorcana with some pretty cool events. I think the first really neat thing that we saw were the cruises, where people got these 5 different promo cards as well as complimentary decks of cards. I'm still trying to hunt down all those promos. Because they're absolutely fantastic. And so that was cool seeing them for their vacation club members and stuff on cruises. And then even cooler was this weekend where we saw folks out at the parks participating in Collection Quest. And I was super jealous because it looked amazing. And I'm really excited to welcome in somebody who got to attend one of those and is one of our longest supporters and an amazing member of the community. It's Scott Goodrich, aka Cypher 1000. Scott, how's it going?
It is fantastic. Anytime you get to be on Let's Talk Lorcana, it's a good day.
Oh man, that means a lot. Yes, Aaron says hello from over there.
Hi, Aaron. And hi, Alana, who's probably sleeping. Hopefully,
yeah, she finally made it to bed. So yeah, hey, I want to ask your opinion about a lot of different things, but let's start off where we just started. Collection Quest, how was it?
It was amazing. And I guess the first thing that I would say is for me, I felt like it started well before the parks opened, right? So myself and a few others, we decided to rope drop the event. Got there in plenty of time. We're one of the first people through the initial gates. But while we're waiting at the park gate and lined up, for me, that's really kind of when it started, because we get to hang out with people like Beckoning Adventure, Clarissa there. And eventually on the second day, it was Rebecca Quests and Enchanted Kim and Missy Enchanted.
Enchanted.
Yes. and folks like that. And so it's these people that I haven't seen in months. It's a family reunion just as we're waiting to even get in the door, and that in itself is just food for the soul, right? But just getting to hang out and vibe with Oogie Boogie staring us down, from above, and a cool enchanted castle in the background. It's the Disneyland castle, but it's like in the middle of the it's not a foyer, courtyard, we'll call it, in between the parks. And on the first day, I didn't know this was going to happen, but just a few people behind us, we've got Steve Warner is there in line. And so we're saying hi to him and going and get photos. And I think Lucas was there from Ravensburger as well. JDZ comes up and he's streaming the event. And then we got Dan Regal and Dad Kana and Judge Phil. So all these people that you interact with online that we don't get a chance to necessarily play with or talk to face to face. It was just that was life itself, man. Just being able to share those moments with the people, even just waiting in line. We're ripping packs. I was able to have somebody get a case to me that morning, and I made security make me pop the case there, so everybody knew I'm not breaking street date. This is the first time it's being opened. And then as we're waiting in line, we're just ripping packs. Dad kind of ripped me a foil scar, so that was sweet. So yeah, and ripping packs at Disney hits different, man. That was really cool.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I can absolutely believe it. I remember going to Disney World. It was the weekend that Worlds was happening, so there was just a lot of people around the parks. And I think it was Kurt Spies and Kendall. No, I'm not. And I think they were playing like Pack Rush in the park, and I was like, "This, it feels right playing
Yes,
Lorcana
it
in a park."
absolutely does. I'll get to that in a little bit here. As for the event itself, like gates open, we are briskly walking since we're not running in the park to the first
Of course.
queue. They have everything kind of signed out for you, so we pretty much know where we're going. And if you don't, you start to see the Lorcana signs that's guiding you to where to be. Go through the first queue, we get a bracelet. It says this is the time you come back, and like that's kind of your time slot. So we're each given a 90-minute time slot to go and do stuff, which is really cool because let's say you weren't one of the first ones in line, but then you get a time slot for like 1 or 3 o'clock. Well, then you can go and ride rides or do whatever until that time, right? So it's not just monopolizing your day. So we get that. Then when we go into, I was in the 9 o'clock, first basically queue of the first day. They bring us into the animation building at 9, and we line up in another queue there. And that's when they have, if for folks that haven't been to Disney California Adventure, in this room, it's an auditorium. There's not really any seats, but they do have a queue in there for us. So as we're just kind of chilling on the floor, they've got little snippets of animation and song, and the screen's in a basically 360 degrees with different angles from these properties. And so you're seeing and hearing, Elsa and Let the Storm Rage On, but you're seeing how she was kind of animated in stills and other maybe concept art that led to the final production. And you see that for a variety, maybe 20 different songs from various Disney properties that they have on loop. And it's not just Disney, they've got Pixar as well. So we're waiting in there and just vibing and having a good time. They finally take the first group in. Each round is, 10, 15 minutes. I'm expecting that it's going to be like Gen Con, like they're just taking us into a room to do a bunch of trades.
Mm-hmm. That's what I expected.
That's not it, fam. That wasn't it at all. So when they bring us into the next room, it's kind of an antechamber, if you will. And it turns out it's very Fantasia themed. And in this room, they have different animation machines, basically. So you spin them and you kind of get the image of an animated image that's going through as you look through it. They have different tables where you can kind of draw your own animation on long papers while this event isn't going on. It's got On the one end, it actually has been retro themed to, or not retro themed. It's been retrofitted. It's got the Disney Lorcana lore symbol on it and the wreath around it, and so that was kind of cool to see. At first, they're just letting us in there as we're just waiting, and so we're kind of looking at this art and playing with the animation machines and things like that. The second day, they actually started giving little trivia bits about the room, so you weren't just sitting there chilling, right? Like you're kind of engaged with them. Yeah, this is the antechamber there that we're seeing the video from Rebecca Quests. That's actually my back. There I am. I didn't know.
So what I'm actually initially impressed by is just the amount of Disney effort that is put into the game
Yes.
now. I feel like this past year we have seen little to no official Disney support, and this looks like they're just embracing Lorcana.
Amazing.
They did. And so that's really the first thing. Once you get into this final room where they're doing a little show, which none of us had any idea about, it's clear the amount of love and care that Disney is putting into this in conjunction with Ravensburger to make this a Disney experience. Now, I'm not necessarily the target audience for this particular show. Like, it was fun. I liked it. But it was clear that others who are maybe more Disney fanatics, maybe younger folks, maybe folks who are just more into the theatricality of things, they're really enjoying it. And it was really well done. They're showing how they're talking about glimmers. We see the sketches, and then we see the sketches come to life based off of audience participation. They use an ink caster to make it happen. So they've got the ink caster that we see, in the early videos in the first chapter and things like that. So that was really cool. They've got the person standing up there in the video. He's the Illumineer that's guiding us through all that. These books that they had on the side, supposedly, I only heard one person talking about this. There really wasn't time to explore, but supposedly they take you through a little quiz that says what glimmer would you be as you answer various questions. So I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe he was just making it up, but that was one person's account. As you're coming out from this, they then have you take off one of the wristbands that they give you, and they hand you a pack and this little doodad here. And inside, you have a list of 4 cards that you have to find. And it's a couple commons and a couple uncommons. And they guide you to an area where it's a bunch of pop-up tables, and people are just trading cards outside. That's all it is. They're ripping their packs and trading cards. And it's almost like a mini stock exchange floor where it's like, who's got Mickey Mouse True Friend? I need TikTok. And you're just shouting out stuff, what you need, what you have. And nobody cares that they don't know anybody. And if they do care, they're hiding their discomfort, because the joy of these trades and being engaged with the game of being at Disney is overcoming any of that discomfort to the point where they're actually able to make trades with people and engage in discussion. And we're just really bonding in activity over this thing that's, some of us are completely enfranchised, and others it's just friends we haven't met yet. If the goal was to get people engaged with the game and just throw them into the world, this is it. They're doing it. And it was that trade area that they had. There's maybe 6 to 8 tables, plus there's benches around a fountain and whatnot. Busy the whole time. As soon as that first group got out, nonstop trading from the moment they're out to the time the last group was finished. I haven't seen condensed and concentrated activity like that, just constant, since early leagues or maybe at Gen Con, right? It was really cool to see.
So just in general, if you had to ballpark it, would you say a lot of these people were maybe new to the game or just new to the idea of Lorcana? Or would you say a lot of them were like you and Rebecca, that's like, yeah, we've been doing this for a while, but now this is an official Disney event. We get to be a part of it.
That's a great question. So the first day, there's no doubt there was a lot of enfranchised people. You would see Lorcana hats. You'd see Lorcana. There was a handful of Lorcana shirts. You would see players that you've seen at DLCs. I had a handful of folks, Victoria and Tyler and a couple others from our local community that I saw. So we had folks from, Sacramento. Ed Chu was there, right? So he had come down. So day one definitely had a number of enfranchised folks. Day two, it was evident to me there was a good deal more newer players and newer people to the event. There was one woman that I was speaking with. She was just a Disney fan. She had never played or heard of Lorcana, but she got in there and decided to take a look and see what everything was about, and went through the queues and had a great time. There, you would see parents with kids that it's basically their Pokemon, right? Like that's effectively what they're doing. And the parents don't necessarily engage with Pokemon, but they know Disney, and so now mom's out here trying to trade and get into it. We definitely saw a good chunk of that on the second day.
So like that's again, that's something we touched on at the beginning of the show. I've talked with a few people the last month or so, just trying to figure out what Disney's or Ravensburger's plan was for new player engagement, growing the game, trying to get the community bigger. And if they're doing stuff like this, I think this is the answer. Like, that's just it.
Yeah.
I mean, seeing the production of that room and all of the care. I mean, that's stuff us who've been here since day one have never seen.
Right.
Yeah. But,
yeah.
I mean, look at those frames. Like the fact that they're animating the characters.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're watching the video. Sorry, so when
that's okay.
Frames, like I'm watching the video, but like how they're animating the traditional, like the way Disney fans are getting. I mean, just imagine that this is your very first time hearing about Lorcana. You know, I think us on the call, everybody watching, like we've been in it, but this is your first time experiencing this game. What an incredibly magical way to be introduced to this game. I'm just sitting here thinking about like how many formative memories the kids in this video are having. And like I remember sitting in my treehouse when I was 9 years old trading Pokemon cards with my brothers.
Yep.
And that is the equivalent of the experience these kids are having. Like the fact that I remember that into my 30s. That is what these kids are going to have. And that's just such a special and incredible thing to witness.
It's hard to manufacture that. You can craft an experience and hope that people connect with it, but you don't know until people go through. But that's genuinely what was happening. People were making memories. The word I would use is they're immediately immersed, right? So in the library, you're immersed into the world. You're seeing. So the one that really got to me was Honey Wizard. Like seeing him come to life on that screen for the first time was super cool. I mean, it's hard not to be a fan of that art from the very beginning, and just see that represented in this event was awesome. And then they're immersed in the trading aspect afterwards. So it's kind of both sides, both the fictional world and then the real life realities of what does it look like to open the packs and see the cards in front of you, and people are ripping epics and they're ripping enchanteds, and people, you hear this, ultimately Dan Regal pulls the daggone iconic there. That had to be just a completely surreal moment for him.
Oh, I can imagine like just the crowd around, like
absolutely. So yeah, seeing folks have that joy when they get, a big hit, or when they finally finish their quest and get to turn this stuff in, it was really cool to see.
No, I mean, like, again, just looking at the longevity of the game and how it's just going to keep on, I mean, just being what it is. Things like this, I don't know that we need to do more than things like this, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm looking at the pictures. I'm jealous. I didn't have a chance to go do something like that. Me who's been doing it since day one, I remember what got me into Lorcana initially, and it was because, my cousin just randomly sent me a picture, and he's like, yo, Disney's making a card game, and the first card art I saw was Maleficent Dragon. And immediately I was like, okay, cool. Well, I'm going to play the game. Like, we're just going to see how it goes. And these people are getting a way better experience than that.
Right? Exactly. Like, I'm remembering Liam coming home from work one day just being like, yeah, they're going to make a TCG about Disney. And I was like, yeah, cool. Like, this is, please, I want to be in. I want to forget that Lorcana exists just so that I can have this experience.
Exactly. Like, yeah, like I saw a still image of the artwork of Maleficent Dragon and I was immediately hooked. Imagine if I could have seen Honey Wizard come to life and transform on a thing in front of me. Like,
while you're in Disneyland. Like
Yeah.
while you're in
And there
in
were
the magic.
audible gasps when the Floodborn glimmers come on the screen. For people who hadn't seen them before, they're like, yo, giant tink.
Yeah.
You know, that they become real immediately.
It's
to these
so
people.
magical.
Like imagine, just think back for a second. The first time we saw Cinderella Stouthearted, right? Like her in all of her armor with the sword and shield. Like that was I think that was like the first, other than Winnie the Pooh, Honey Wizard. That was the first time we saw like a mainline character just have such a huge transformation. Imagine somebody at a park who's never seen that, or even imagine that version of the character could exist. And then they just transform in front of you. Like, dude,
I'm loving this comment from Enchanted Chatter. Just like
back in my day,
they just released the card art on Twitter.
Back in my day, I saw Captain Hook, and I was like, man, that's such a cool card.
Like he's got Tinkerbell. He's got a sword for a hand. Look at that.
And that's something I really feel like Disney and Ravensburger need to leverage, right? You look at these other properties that are doing well, and right now this is probably the golden era of TCGs. I don't think we've seen this since, 25 years ago.
Absolutely.
They have a built-in viewer experience. They have a built-in park experience that Bandai and Wizards don't have, and these other companies. So leverage that. Use it to your advantage. And I think that's part of what they're doing with this show.
Well, and again, you have to think about just how like amazing the experience of like Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom was, and the opportunities with Lorcana because of, you know, Dreamborn and Floodborn characters is just exponentially more. Like what they can do in the parks for people to engage with this game for the first time, it's infinite. It is infinite. You know, and it is so exciting to know that people are going to get to have that experience.
So when we finish these quests, right, we finish all the 4 glimmers in the book, we go and trade them in and off the page. So for those that don't know, off the page is a store where they sell Disney art. And so many of us are like, we're just waiting for the day when we can go and buy Disney Lorcana art from off the page and see some of these things. We want to buy prints and whether it's original art of Floodborns or whether it's art from the game, it doesn't really matter, right? Just to be able to engage with it in that way as well, it's got to happen at some point. Just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, speaking of just a matter of time, I feel like this past year and a half, 2 years of Lorcana has just kind of been the let's test it and see what happens level on the Disney side of things. And now we're finally seeing actual support. I don't know that Disney really believed that the card game would last 6 months, because how many card games can you name that you heard of and, you know, start and, you know, they live and die within like half a year.
Well, and I think too, like Disney just like licenses they're like, yeah, sure. Like license our stuff. You're going to give us money. Like, sure. And like, I mean, we've seen so many Disney properties that try and fail. And so I'm sure that they were like, yeah, whatever.
We'll make a card game. We'll see what happens. But like and I think this is the thing that a lot of people forget. This game has gotten so much bigger than Ravensburger ever dreamed or intended. They have at every point been playing catch up simply because the demand of the game is way bigger than they thought. Like, just go back to the first DLC announcements of season 1. The caps were going to be like 512 people because at the time, the largest Disney Lorcana event that happened in the world was Charlie's Collectible Show. It was like 250 some odd people. So they just doubled that because they're like, surely this is the demand for the game. And like now here we are. Like now here we are 2 years later, and 2,000 person events sell out like that, and people are clamoring for more. Like we're not, you know.
I see your Taylor Swift, and I raise you a DLC.
Sure.
Why not both?
But that's what I think a lot of
Brilliant.
people tend to forget. We're not talking about people who have unlimited resources and backing here. We're talking about people who have, since day one, been like, how are we going to accommodate just the wild amount of demand that this game has? And now that I think Disney sees that there's actual proof of concept and real yearning for more of this, I think it's going to get easier as we go, but we have to keep on showing them that there is the demand for it.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry,
So-
I'm letting Lauren Barger know that she has fans in the chat tonight. It's one of the fun things about being friends with artists. You send them random notes.
It was a great time. Zero regrets. Expensive weekend, right? Like I wouldn't be able to do this for every set.
As Lorcana weekends often are, Scott.
Sure.
As Lorcana weekends often are.
You know what? Truer words have never been spoken, Aaron. That is a fact. But as a periodic dalliance, right? Maybe a once a year thing. I'm on board.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I will say, tied to what you all are talking about, one of the smartest things that Ravensburger, I think, leading the charge on this, and by association Disney did, was create a world and create a story.
Mm-hmm.
Because now, because they didn't have to go this route. They could have used standard artwork. They could have used the characters. And build a rule set without building a story and a world. And by building a world, by bringing us the Great Illuminary, they've allowed us now to do or allowed the company now to do things like build the Great Illuminary in the parks, like they just did, and allow you to experience this world, or eventually do a show, or eventually do comic books. One of the things that makes Disney so successful is their ability to take a property like a movie and then to leverage that in a ride, and leverage that in a TV show, and leverage that in a video game, and to be able to experiences, right? And to have multiple different avenues in order to provide different experiences to different people, and to monetize it in different ways, frankly, because their parks experiences augment their movies, which augment their, cruises, and it all works together.
Merchandising.
Merchandising. But now by bringing us the world of Lorcana, it opens up all of these different avenues. Which is brilliant.
Yeah. So
okay,
great time. Looking forward to what they do for the next one. What cards it will be, presuming that they do it again. I can't imagine they don't. It was so wildly successful. Really hoping it continues.
I was about to say, like, I can't imagine there was a time slot that just wasn't filled out, right? Like,
oh yeah. So the first day, every bracelet, which is basically your ticket, and it has a timestamp on the bracelet, time slot. Every bracelet was gone by 10 a.m. So by the time the first group got out, the last bracelet was given. There was more bracelets available. There was less demand on the second day, but they still sold out. Like it was not in question. And it was sold out loosely. Like we didn't have to pay extra for it.
Yeah, but so again, like I think putting their toes into the water, and like I think like every little thing like this is an experiment from Disney to be like, is this actually something that's going to be profitable and make us money? And every time it sells out, be it a DLC, be it one of these experiences, be it just people like going to the park and wanting to open a pack at the park because that's just part of the Disney magic. I think it just gets us one step closer to them starting to back it in the way we see companies like Riot backing their card game. We see Game Freak backing Pokemon. We see Wizards backing Magic, because it is legitimately just, I mean, for not being crude, just a cash cow. And
speaking of buying packs in the park, Fabled was sold out by Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
They still had Rain of Jafar. They still had Arcasia's Island. They didn't have Fabled.
Fabled's a home run.
Yeah, remember when
people are buying packs and troves and whatnot to just rip to try and fill out their quest.
Right? Fascinating.
Oh, interesting.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Hold on.
So the cards that I had in my backpack, I was just trading with people to help fill out their collection and finish their quests. There was no restriction on that.
That's cool.
Oh.
And they had, so this was in between, or they had the trading area in between a little outside kiosk where they were selling cards.
Of course they
or
did.
you could buy them at the register inside of the page.
Because
So,
hashtag Disney.
literally sandwiched in between two buying opportunities for more cards.
Enjoy our ride. Here's a gift shop.
So, I mean, I don't know where you might have heard first pack is free.
Yeah.
And then they're like, but if you want more,
The first taste is free. That's right.
Yeah. And it worked.
Just give them a little bit.
I mean, look, something like that at Disney. I mean, you just take all of the other experiences that are just like wildly expensive, but then a souvenir, like how much were the packs at the park? Were they like retail? Were they a little bit more?
Retail, as far as I know.
I feel like,
Okay.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, by comparison, for a lot of stuff you can do at Disney, buying a pack's pretty cheap. So
Right?
like,
Actually, that is so true. But oh, gosh, it's so fun. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went up there. There's an area in downtown Disney, and it's a couple of restaurants, and then on top is a seating area, and the second floor is a seating area. So I went up there to finish opening my case, and there was a couple of people in front of me, man and woman. They were playing with their single player decks that they had bought there. It appeared as though it was their first time engaging with the game, and they were having a blast. There was people behind me, just ripping packs there. I think they were opening a couple of troves. So people were still taking it out of the park and engaging with it on their own time, which was really cool to see. Opening those packs, like I found myself just going back to the rares to see if I got some of the new stuff, or if there was a new enchanted or whatnot. But then when I started sorting it, it was like, oh, these are all old friends. I remember you, and I had a good time with this card. And it was walking down memory lane for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
That was an unexpectedly enjoyable time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for people who are
I'm not buying the promos on eBay right now.
Sure you're not.
And for people coming to Lorcana for the first time, it's like coming to an artist when the Greatest Hits album is being released.
Yes.
You know, like you just know that you're getting like great card after great card after great card. Even if its greatness is the art, like Honey Wizard, you know what I mean? Like even if it's just amazing. What?
Or a Hades.
Or a Hades, yes. That's so amazing. I will say one of my favorite things is being places and seeing people play one of the single player decks with the little paper thing that comes like on like and they're using it to like map out their board, because I'm like, you're new. Like we saw that at Gen Con. I'm like, welcome to the community.
Exactly. Yeah.
When you see people rocking the paper play mats, it's always such an amazing like thing.
So I mean, again, like this is something we talked about. Or we saw a lot of naysayers before the set came out. Like, who is this for? Like, who are they expecting to buy these things? Well, clearly they found their market. Like
Disney collectors.
Yeah, and like much to your point, to people who haven't been here since set one, this is their first time seeing what we consider to be just like staples. Like, oh yeah, cool. We see Hades and Elsa and Smash and Tinkerbell and Captain Hook. But like people who are at parks, like Scott was just saying, they open a pack and like these are just like, wow, look at these different versions of these characters. I'm so upset this wasn't my first experience.
If only you could forget the past 2 years.
Yeah.
What I wouldn't give to get to see Elsa for the first time.
Yes.
Again. Like I would love to get to see that card for the first time again.
And what if your first opportunity with it wasn't just the card, but the epic version?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
My gosh.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And seeing those moments, especially with the kids, where you see the joy in their eyes and like the spark in their brain has been lit, like the wheels are turning and they see what it can be. Those moments are priceless. Like that's why I love this game, especially when whether it's the park or the LGS, it doesn't matter. You see a new player's experience and it's positive, and you're just like, more, please. I want to see this more and more and more. It's contagious, man. It's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, seeing it at the park, I'm sure is like just amplified even more. But I mean, throughout the year at DLCs, or even at Continentals, there were some new people just because it was on site
Yes.
property, right? I mean, just seeing new players in those environments was insane. I can't imagine what it's like being in, the Illuminary um, with an actual Imagineer, just going through things, and
It's
that being their experience. Like that's, I mean, the more I think about it, like I'm just continuing to get even more green with envy. Like,
I think you said something important there, that the DLCs and Continentals, yes, there is a main event. Yes, there's giant competition and there's competitive players there, and they're vying for prizes. But there are still newer players there. There are still people where it's their first time in an event and they're not as engaged competitively, and they're just there to experience it. Those events, while maybe there is competition going on, it's for everybody. And they're really incredible experiences. I put this engagement right up there with them as far as community engagement.
I mean, yeah, just from the visuals alone, absolutely. Like I remember it, the North American Championship when we got in. You see like the big Illuminary book with all that set piece we had. Like that's better than that.
Yeah, right. Oh, but now we know the assets are there, right? Like there's things exist. We can,
I know. So like that. I mean, after I don't know if anybody saw or paid attention to Pokemon Worlds, but like, having the vision forwards, thinking like, imagine like we play a glimmer of a character and it just lights up on the floor underneath you.
Oh my goodness.
Disney has the technology and money to make it happen. We just got to show them that we just got to show them that the demand is there. Like, gosh, can you imagine like, however many years in the future, if that like just becomes what our world championship looks like?
Oh, so cool.
I have to run.
I know. I was about to say, speaking of which, all right. So thanks for joining us, Scott. I have to mention, everybody, if you enjoyed chatting with Scott here and want to catch up with him some more and hear more about his experience this weekend, go check out Vox Lorcana, which will be going live here in about 15 minutes with Scott and some other amazing members of the community, including Rebecca and Dan from Lorcana Fanatics. So go check that out. Scott, you're on Twitter and YouTube?
So the cast will be streamed on both Twitch and YouTube.
Okay.
We no longer do Twitter streams.
Got it.
Or spaces rather. We still have an account on X, and we do post on there occasionally. It's really just more to keep apprised of the community. We're also on Facebook, or not Facebook, Blue Sky. Got Vox Lorcana over there. But yeah, for the streams, it's the first Wednesday of every month, 8 p.m. Pacific on Twitch and on YouTube.
Well, we just posted the YouTube link in the chat. So if you're curious about that, hang out here for the next couple of minutes and then click on that and go check out Vox Lorcana, going live in about 10 minutes now, 10 to 15 minutes. Scott, thanks for joining us, and good luck with the show.
Appreciate it. Always a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me. We'll talk to you next time, guys.
Yes, absolutely. See you later, Scott. And follow us. Yes, you and everybody else wants to know. There are any demos you don't need. Yeah, shout out Scott. I will say, if anybody's interested in seeing more about Collection Quest and getting to see what that was like, we were playing Rebecca Quest's video. If you're not following her on Instagram, what are you doing? Enchanted Kim, who's in the chat, was also there and has some content about the event. So shout out to Kim for sharing that. And then I think if we're into the YouTube thing, Dan Regal has a YouTube video where you can watch in landscape some Collection Quest coverage. So you can go check that out there.
I am upset that I could not be part of that. That looks so cool.
It looks so cool.
Right.
Next time, Logan, the three of us, we're gonna be there.
Next time it's gonna be a Disney World, and I'll have a better shot.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, getting call pointing out the previous event with the Bell promo card, which was still cool, and the signature booth. But even just that, he says, attracted many new people from different countries to discover Disney Lorcana. Yeah, I mean, once the parks start like really leaning into this, like permanently, like,
oh god, it's gonna be like everything we can imagine and more. I mean, we've had our own events that we've set up to play like Pack Rush in parks, right? I mean, at I think it was the Friday before North American Champion. Yeah, Friday.
Yeah, we played it at Country Bear Jamboree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like even that brought in new people.
Yeah.
So like if it's like my biggest complaint when I've been to Disney twice in the last year because of Lorcana is that it's really hard to buy just single packs in the parks.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And if they start doing it, I mean, all of a sudden, my only complaint goes away. So
Yeah. Yeah, I love the idea of Quest in the Park and Shane pointing out. I love the idea of the singles for sale in the parks and then trading. Like, there was people have pointed out to me before that trading Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom wasn't a super popular thing, but it was done occasionally. But there's no reason people can't walk around with like little 4-pocket card binders like the portfolios. Do I have one here?
I don't think so.
I don't know, but on their belts and have single trading the way we have pin trading.
yeah, no, literally, I think it should be as common as pin trading in the parks.
Yeah. And then signature collecting, why get signature book signed when you can get Lorcana book cards signed? Like, I don't know.
I mean, look, we've already seen the signature character cards come out, right? Like the Mickey signature cards still for like $50-$60.
I know. I feel super bad. I wanted some extras of those because I thought they were cool and I was going to get them signed. And so I asked some people for them after Continentals. I'm like, hey, and people were like, yeah, here you can have my extra signature cards. And now they're in a binder of mine and I feel really bad because they got really valuable.
Do you really?
I do.
Do you really feel bad?
I do. But
he's going to take them next time we go to Disney because we're going to be there for the next collection quest. And
Yeah, we
Mickey's
are.
going to be there and he's going to get them all signed by Mickey.
We should do like if and when it comes to Disney World, we should try our best to do like a live stream from the Let's Talk Lorcana live from
Collection Quest in Disney World.
Bro, don't play. I'll take off so much work for that.
All right. I do want to get off before Vox Lorcana goes live, so I do want to get to wrapping here. But I did say I was going to rip a pack for Sawyer if we got 100 followers on Team Inkcasters. Some of you may not be here for that. We're at 99. So somebody just click. I'm going to open this pack. Somebody go follow Team Inkcasters here. Give them their 100th follow. They're at 99 right now. And they were kind enough to join us. Let's see if anybody takes me up on that. But give them that follow. I'm going to open this pack of cards here for Sawyer for sharing that picture with us. And because, I don't know, reasons I like opening packs of cards, I have a problem. So let's see. Oh, Enchanted Chatter says done. So maybe are we at 100?
And
101.
There we go.
Goodness.
Way to go, team.
Way to go, team. Thank you all. Thanks, Courtney and/or Bree. Let's see, Sawyer, what we got here. Get rid of these comments. This is a Return of Jafar, or Reign of Jafar pack, rather, because
Louis
is good.
Madame Medusa, pretty solid.
Madame Medusa's not terrible. Just a rare.
And Shinzo, very playable right now. The Colonel.
Okay.
Gadget.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Decent.
All right.
The deflated,
there are worse packs.
It could have been a foil common.
I mean, look,
That's true.
there was at least 4 playable cards in that pack.
That's true. Lewis, Bambi's beautiful Medusa.
Medusa,
Okay.
Shinzo,
And
Lloyd.
Lloyd did work at Worlds, right?
It did, actually.
You're really completely covering your camera, by the way, babe.
Oh, what?
Good
This? Ooh.
No. You were just running through the cards
Yeah.
and covering your camera.
Oh.
People want to see your beautiful face.
Vinny. Oh, that's true. And Vinny color points out.
Mhm.
So there we go. No, there was no Vinny in here.
There's no Vin. I think she's saying Vinny for Vincenzo.
Yeah. All right. Sawyer, make sure you get me your address. I'll send out your pack of cards here. I'm still behind on giveaways from last week, though. So there you go. Some out. All right. All right. SAWYER, Sawyer's pack. There we go. All right. Well, that was a fun show.
It was a really good show.
On
Wednesday, too.
a Wednesday. Feels weird. But I don't know. We have 7 minutes. What are our closing thoughts before we wrap for the week? I've got some admin notes, but I don't know.
It's another big weekend coming up. And I think that's just kind of our life for the next 2 months, which is great. Don't get me wrong. I'm so excited to be back in competition time. But I'm not going to lie. I forgot how exhausting it can be.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is a big weekend. So you're going up to Ink Inc. With you're going to Ink Inc. with a bunch of folks. There's going to be all the commentators there. Baker, who was on earlier night, is hopping on a plane heading to Baltimore. So it'll be the who's who of casting teams up there. And then down in CCS, going on at the same time was Charlie's Collectible Show with a big tournament this weekend. Qualifier for the Charlie's Collectible Show Invitational. Ginormous tournament, and there'll be a lot of great players down there too. And that'll be commentated by
you,
myself. Katie of Lore Keepers In will be there, and Brent Mukai will be there as well, flying out from California, making, I think, his big event, like big in-person debut. And then we'll have the team from 20 Lore as well, with Jibas and Sosky and all those folks, and Lofi. So check out that stream as well. Watch both this weekend. Watch both.
Dual screen moment.
There's going to be so much going on, and there's so many good people at each event. Like, I mean, so Maelstrom, we're splitting the events. So me, Sky, Wonder, and Kurt Spies are all going to be at Ink Inc. And then R&B, Humble, Sailor, and Bannable are all going to be at CCS. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I can't wait to see how you all do. I'm interested to see which team performs better. Did you all like draft which one you were going to, or?
No, it was just kind of like who had plans for what first. So
yeah,
it's just kind of how it shook out. Like, honestly, it wasn't pre-planned. It just, as we talked about it, we're like, oh wow, this is funny. Like literally half and half.
That's funny. I'll be Color. I'll be watching both Only Casting Ones. Right, Color is going to be one of the commentators up there at Ink Inc., which is going to be great. Yeah, so busy weekend. It's going to be awesome to see how the meta shakes out. Infinity up there and Ink Inc. as well. So it'll be super fun. Couple notes for everybody here. Thank you all for watching, especially on a Wednesday. We appreciate all of you. And some content this week. I'm going to plug a couple things. First of all, I'm going to plug Maelstrom's content, dropping a really cool day one deck list video this week with some fun stuff there. If you're not following Maelstrom, you should be. Also, follow Logan on Instagram. I posted a link to his Instagram here earlier, and you got 3 new followers out of it. I think so. There you go.
Yeah.
But follow Logan, who does really great Instagram content, and then Maelstrom as well. And if you're not in the Maelstrom Discord, I don't know what you're doing, because you should be there. And then on our channel, we did a couple fun videos this week. One where we covered a lot of the differences between the reprints in this set and previous sets. A lot of hidden details I bet you didn't know that are super fun. So go check that out. And then we also did a really fun video that released yesterday, I think, on the top 10 cards in Fabled. But we sourced that from 25 of the best players with cameos from folks like Frank Karsten, and we had Ed Chu in there, and then Humble from Maelstrom, a couple other folks. So you should go check that out. And there's a link to our channel there. If you're watching on YouTube, you're already there. But if you're watching somewhere else, you can click on that link and head over to the channel and subscribe and watch that content. But check out those videos. Super fun. Lastly, shout out to our Patreon supporters, all you folks who help make the show happen. These software subscriptions cost money every month, and you all help support us and make it happen. So shout out to you all for that. And a link to the Patreon is in the show notes for you all there. Other than that, anything else?
No. Well, I mean, I have a big weekend. Our daughter starts ballet lessons this weekend, so
Aww.
I don't know what y'all are all going to be doing, but I'll be at ballet class on Sunday morning, and I will be watching all of you amazing people competing in all of the tournaments this weekend. So best of luck to everybody competing. I'm going to miss people all over the country, but I will be at ballet, so fun times.
I mean, the joys of being a mother.
Woohoo! Mom duty.
Yeah. All right. Before I hit end, last shout out to Enchanted Chatter for moving their stream an entire hour earlier to make room for this. You all didn't have to do that, but you're awesome. And if you're not following Enchanted Chatter, this is where you should be on Wednesday nights, is watching Enchanted Chatter at 8 p.m. Central Time. So shout out to you all as well. Any more shout outs? We done? We good?
Yeah.
All right.
We'll see you at Vox Lorcana.